Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my podcast. Tonight, I'm going to drink a Cabernet. I normally don't drink cabs, but I've been kind of getting into cab recently, and I found this one at Trader Joe's, and I just loved the label. I don't know if you can see the gold on it, like the stringy things. I don't know. It's cool. It's Francis Coppola Diamond Collection, Black Label, Claret, Cabernet Sauvignon. Literally name a better sound. Also, look how cool these wine glasses are. It came in a set of two. My friend got them for me for Christmas, to use for wine therapy, which I thought was so cute. So thank you, Tanya. All right. Well, welcome back to my podcast. I feel like trying to put this episode together was difficult for me because I just have so many thoughts that I don't really know. When I make episodes, I do think about okay, what can I see the main topic being, and I need to make sure I have a title and a description, And so I try and stay on one topic, but I also learned that after doing this for 2 years that a lot of topics will come out of this as I start drinking wine and speaking on them. So I want to talk about what the word avoidant means to me because I feel like I only know it as avoidant attachment. Been there, done that. But I feel like talking about it in a different perspective and not in an attachment way where it's more processing, grieving, feeling emotions, and particularly grieving somebody from betrayal. So something that hurts you. So, what made me want to do a podcast episode on this tonight was that I have been having really bad nightmares since I found out my ex-boyfriend was cheating on me. And I keep thinking I'm doing great just because I'm so busy. I kind of just keep my mind off of it. And it's been so long in my mind. It's been 3 months. I'm just okay, let's actually, I don't even know how long it's been now because it's not something I think about. I don't know. I'm very logical where something happens, then it's okay, you cry about it for a week and then, all right, it happened. You can't waste your time being sad over it. Let's move on. And so I had them initially right after the breakup, or I guess I should say right after I found out he was cheating on me. And then they kind of faded. And I'm a little frustrated that I've been having them a lot again, and they're back. And this isn't the first time I've experienced night terrors. I'm not going to lie, I kind of get them often. And it usually comes when a form of betrayal like this happens. About 4 years ago, maybe it's been now, which is crazy. My ex best friend really fucked me up. And that was a form of betrayal that I still have never really talked about on here. And I don't plan on it, if I'm being honest. It's just makes me really uncomfortable and it hurts. And I don't like to talk about it. Right. So, after that happened, I had really bad night terrors from this form of betrayal, and I actually started to see a therapist. And my therapist told me that, when I have these night terrors, and we went back to other night terrors that I've had, and I look forward into how many I've had, and she clocked it where she's like, "You have night terrors because your body is screaming for help." So what that means is, you something happens and because your mind isn't doing the work in during the daytime and trying to grieve, process and understand the emotions and feelings that you have from this form of betrayal or just hurt in general, then your body does it for you in your sleep and it comes out in those ways. Similarly, I think I've touched base on this with panic attacks. I've experienced panic attacks for years, and it's the same thing. It's where I never see it coming. All of a sudden, it's oh my god, what's going on? What's going? I could be in a safe space and I'll still have a panic attack and have no idea why. It comes out of nowhere and it freaks me out. But what I learned is that it's not coming out of nowhere. It's coming out of pushing down all these mini traumas and trying to process them, but your body is screaming for help basically because you're not processing them yourself. So again, I've done an episode similar to this, but I wanted to talk about the actual grieving process and processing emotions because I've realized through this particular betrayal of mine, where I found out my ex-boyfriend was cheating on me, I have really gone into this knowing that this could be so damaging to me, but I'm going to do this right. I'm going to process, I'm going to grieve right so that this doesn't affect me moving forward. I was so sure of that. And now I'm really frustrated that I'm still having these night terrors because it's like, okay, well, like, what else can I do? I started therapy. I feel like I'm letting myself feel the emotion. So why do I still have night terrors? And I look back at my nightmares that I used to have from my ex best friend, and those just like with time went away on its own. I don't think I fully processed that either. I like to cut people out of my lives once they betray me, and I pretend like they're dead for the rest of my life. I don't think about it. I forget about their existence. And that's probably why I forget a lot of things. And that a sign of trauma is like having no memory of it. It's survival mode. And I'm aware that I've done that in the past, but I really told myself that this time I wasn't going to do that because you carry those betrayals with you, whether you like to admit it or not, even if you don't like to remember what those things are, because with time, you do forget what it is. I always make jokes. I'm like, I don't remember a single day of my middle school life. Like, I don't. And I don't know if that's like because hormones are pumping in your body at that age, or if something really traumatic happened to me. Like, I have no idea what happened in middle school. But I make those jokes because it's like, you don't remember traumas because you do push it all down and suppress it. As you can see, I like to psychoanalyze myself and like try and be my own therapist. And I like to psychoanalyze other people as well. So I see like I'm not doing this right. Clearly, I'm not doing this right because I'm having nightmares. I am putting all these feelings like so far down. I'm not thinking about what happened, but that's because I don't know how. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying. I've written the letters that I'll never send to these people. I have been to a rage room and got violent. I have I have like physically gotten violent with people. Like, and it's just like I feel like I've been trying to feel all of these feelings, but the one I have a hard time feeling is sadness when it comes to betrayal. And I don't know how to feel sadness um, from these betrayals because I think I just get so angry that one, I allowed this to happen. Like I get mad at myself, I get mad at the other person, and then I just fuel my grieving process with anger. And I never really grieve the good parts of the relationship because in my mind I'm like, well, doesn't matter what the good parts are, like that means nothing to me because like I didn't even know who you were. um Clearly I didn't know who you were if like you were doing that, like, or if you did this to me. And so I kind of just write off even all the good memories that I had with that person, or like my ex-boyfriend for example. I kind of like I People will look in my hiddens album on in my camera roll, and like you might expect to see like some naked pictures. No, you will see everybody who's betrayed me, all of our pictures together, all of everything, because I put it there, stash it there, and I never open it because those things trigger probably what needs to be triggered for me to heal from this properly. But they're like dead to me. Like I put it away. It's too painful to think about. And I look at pictures sometimes in an attempt to like make myself cry and like feel good about that. And like, I don't know, I always feel like after I cry, I feel better. And it's like a release, but I can't cry. It's so weird. And I think after pondering this, because I'm so psychoanalytical, is that a word? Because I like to psychoanalyze people, I try and understand why the person did that to me. I try to understand what happened in their childhood to make them do that to me. I try and just understand it in a very logical sense because emotionally, it will never make sense to me, right? So the next best thing I can do is try and grasp on for control in some way. And the only way I can figure out doing that is understanding why, what, how, all of the facts. You latch on to facts when you're crashing out. You do. In the sense, I always latch on to facts. And it's like it doesn't matter what happened before because they did this and that's a fact. I cannot change that. I can't go back in time and undo this. It's done. And when that decision's made, I don't really believe in like a closure conversation where, you talk about it, cuz to me, I'm so turned off by that person and the situation that nothing they say is going to make it better. So I don't have a conversation about it. I just literally cut them out, don't say a word ever, and move on. I did this with my ex-boyfriend. We've never had a conversation about the fact that he's been cheating on me. He was cheating on me our entire relationship. We never talked about it because at the time we weren't together when I found out. We had broken up and then I found out later. We've never spoken since. Same with like my ex best friend 4 years ago. I left her apartment, said nothing. I literally packed up my things and I left. And I got on a plane and I blocked her on everything. And that's it. I told her, if I left anything, please send it to me, but I don't want to be your friend anymore. And I blocked her on everything. And I'm realizing, as much as like I stand by this and I feel like I give people this advice because it works for me, it does. I realize that it might not work for everybody if they are the type of person who wants closure and wants to like, maybe that like heals something inside them. To me, it doesn't. And maybe that's where I need help. Like I'm honestly seeking advice from you guys where I'm like, is that what your therapists are like telling you to do? Because like honestly, mine's not really saying much. And she's probably looking to finding a different one. I love her, but anyways, I'm not getting into that. Circling back though to when something traumatic happens, it's very common that people don't remember it and it's super suppressed and really far down within you. I am starting to notice that maybe that's what I do. I think I have a really hard time processing emotions and feelings, and in those senses, like betrayals that just hurt so bad. And I think instead of allowing myself to feel whatever that feels like, I stick to the facts and I bury those feelings with facts, logic, and everything else to survive. I think this is a great tactic if all you want to do is survive. I think what I'm trying to figure out is the tactic I need to approach to not just survive, but come out of this stronger and better than who I was beforehand, and to actually learn the lesson from what's happened. And that's where I'm having a really hard time. I I have a hard time crying in general, especially in front of other people. I don't know why, because I know crying is not a weakness, but I just for some reason have felt like when I cry it's a weakness. I don't know how to explain it, but like when other people cry, I'm not like, oh, they're weak, like, oh, they're emotional. I actually admire it. I'm like, wow, you're so brave to be that vulnerable and be able to cry like in front of me. And it also makes me feel so good because I'm like, wow, like you felt comfortable enough to, like cry in front of me. And for me, I just have a really hard time doing it. I think I get angry. I do this like with my parents and with the people that are really close to me when I'm upset about something. Instead of like saying why I'm upset, or like if I feel like I'm about to start crying in front of them, I like switch it over to anger because it's like the only thing that I feel like is more powerful than sadness or like, I don't know, is being angry. And yeah, wow. Now that I'm saying this out loud, it's all making sense because I have been having a really hard time navigating the anger that I have from finding out my ex-boyfriend was cheating on me. I'm not really sad. I don't know. It's been a really weird thing to process, but 100% of what I feel most of the time is anger about the situation. And I'm looking at that now where I'm thinking maybe my anger is suppressing what I'm actually truly feeling about it. And I don't know how to unlock that. And that's where I think therapy is really great. And that's why I'm like struggling because it's like not coming from me yet. But I think that a lot of us in survival mode will cling on to logic or facts or try and just move on from it. Like it happened, okay, whatever, move on. And then it just suppresses and suppresses. And all those feelings of pain, hurt, betrayal, and trust issues, whatever it is, it comes out in ways that you would never expect it to come out that way. And I don't think that it's something that I mean, I feel like this is very self-aware of me to be saying, but it's not something that I can be like, okay, I need to like sit with myself and think about what it could be that I push down. Like, what am I really feeling? I don't think it's that easy. I think that it actually takes a lot of work. And that's the work I'm trying to figure out how to do it. I wish I didn't let myself push this so far down because I knew I was going to do this and I didn't want to do this. And I thought I tried to take the right steps that I wouldn't push this all down. I cried so much, like, after the breakup, but then when I found out he was cheating on me, I think I cried for 3 days and then I couldn't shed a tear over it. And it's just like I didn't want to do that, but I think it just hurt so bad that survival mode switched on, which I wasn't even aware of that happening, and it just switched to anger. And that anger pushed down everything else that I truly was feeling, and now it's just too far down that I don't know how to let that stuff surface back up. So, what my therapist has said is like really try to journal and like write things out. But what I found is that things that I don't even want to admit out loud is what's really far down buried. I can't even sit in a journal and be like, "Ooh, I'm hurt." Like I can't. I literally can't get myself to write it out and I'm like, "What the fuck is wrong with me?" And I don't get it. I think that there's stuff so far down that I don't even know is there that when I do go to journal, I still can't even say I think what I mean because I don't know what I mean. Sorry, I feel like this isn't making sense and I really want it to because I feel like it's impactful and like I posted a TikTok about it and somebody commented and like the comment was awesome because like it made me feel like I'm not alone when trying to explain this and like process things. And but I did the letter of like, I did a letter of what I would send to him, but I'm not going to type of thing. So like a letter I'd never send. And this is really vulnerable. I don't want to say this out loud, but I think it will help get my point across. I sat on the plane to write this out and I I was I started the letter and I thought like this is so stupid. I don't want to be doing this. Like this isn't going to do anything for me. Hold on, I need my wine. Anyways, and in the first sentence, I didn't know what I was going to say. I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know because I've never thought about having a conversation with him about anything because, like, you cheated on me. That's done. Goodbye. I'm way better than you. Goodbye. And the first thing that I wrote was like, maybe I should just read it. But actually, I know that he probably watches my podcast, which is like disgusting and makes my skin crawl. So please leave. And also leave me alone. Anyways, the first sentence was basically like, I just want you to know, like, I loved you so much. And everything between us was real for me. I saw the good in you, I saw the bad, but I was obsessed with you. I was in it with you. And basically, like, if you were going down, then like I'm right there with you because I was really in that with you. And as soon as I wrote down like it was real for me, I loved you so much that I literally started crying. And that's something I find interesting about my emotions because I don't cry in front of people and then I just cry on a plane. I always cry on planes. Actually, that's weird. But when I do get emotional, it comes out of nowhere and I cannot hold it in. So I let it out and I just cried on the plane and I kept writing and I just kept like writing through the emotions. And what I took away from that letter that I will never send is that uh, I think that's what hurt me was the fact that it was real for me and that I was so in love with him. And I talked about this in one of my posts, and it's the same thing when I look at these pictures of our relationship and I am trying to get myself to cry. I look at these pictures of us and I feel like I literally don't feel tears, not even coming. It's like I laugh at myself. But there's this one picture of me that he took when we were at dinner. And this was during the time that he had been cheating on me. And I had no idea, obviously. And in the photo, first of all, I look so fucking hot and beautiful. Like, I love that picture of me. Sorry. But you see how in love I was with him. And that time that he did come home, it was right before I found out he was cheating on me. And it was the last time I saw him. I thought it was such a big step in our relationship. And that dinner that we went on, like, was one of my favorite memories with him. And I was so in love with him. And I think what hurts is knowing that that was all real for me, but it wasn't for him. And I think that writing that out actually did help. Maybe it didn't fix me, but I think that I do need to start taking more steps where you write out your feelings and maybe things will come up that you don't realize. Just like in that letter, I didn't realize that's maybe what the hurt was coming from. Not that he cheated on me, not that I trusted him and he betrayed me, but because I would have never done that to him because it was all real for me. Whereas it couldn't have been real to him because he would have never done that to me if he was in love with me, you know. Um I literally feel like I'm getting emotional right now. This is weird. And I think that's another thing that I am always like so grateful for about my podcast is that it does feel like with encouragement from you guys that like I'm not going through this alone, just like you guys aren't either. That even sitting here like talking about these things, I feel like helps my growth. And I hope that it helps somebody else in the process who's maybe going through something similar or has the same thinking patterns or wants to improve the way that they grieve and process emotions because I'm struggling in a lot of ways and I feel like sometimes I have a hard time talking about it, but I think that this podcast has given me a space to feel more comfortable in opening up about these things and more comfortable with like, you know, like letting people into my life a little bit. I do still think that this is interesting. I had somebody tell me this recently and it really hit deep. But they were kind of like taking my role of like psychoanalyzing me and this person said like, you know, I think that you are an open book, but you're not. And I was like, well, what do you mean by that? Because I'm totally an open book. Have you listened to my podcast, right? And this person is like, I don't think you are, though. I think that you put up this facade that you're an open book and you talk about everything, but you don't actually talk about the things that hurt you. And that really hit me and got me thinking because I was like, wow, I didn't know that, but it makes sense. Like that's right. So I think that I want to continue to start using this platform to talk about those things that hurt me that I don't talk about because that's a different form of vulnerability. I mean, I feel like I do really open up on here and am really vulnerable with you guys, but it's about select things that I feel comfortable sharing. And I think that there's a lot more that I want to explore in myself that I can share with you guys because I do think that that's what's going to help me move on in the best way that I come out of this stronger and have learned lessons through all these things. And so that's something I'm working on. Thank you guys for listening. I am what through almost 2 weeks out from going to Paris, where I'll start doing my podcast episodes from Paris. I'm so excited. I'm so nervous. I'm freaking out actually. It like hits me and then it doesn't, and then it hits me and then it's just I'm freaking out. It's going to be scary, but it's going to be the best experience ever, and I'm really excited to take you guys along with me. Um, I'll probably try and get one more episode in before I go to Paris because I feel like that'd be fun to like look back on for me, um, to like see how my perspectives changed and like the actual like growth that I do during my trip and to kind of document it with you guys through my podcast and still talk about things that are relevant to all of us. So yeah, thank you for listening to my podcast. Cheers.